Kia ora, Level 1 Geography. Here we are doing our global study, 1.7, looking at the second process that produced the ageing population. So process 2 is the baby boom process. So we're going to once again repeat the question with something like another process that caused the ageing population is the baby boom. So now I'm going to explain to you what the baby boom is. The baby boom was when loads of babies got born after the soldiers came back from World War II. So people who were born during the baby boom were born from 1945 up to the late 60s. Now, the problem with having lots of babies born during that time is now those people in New Zealand, the US, Canada, and the UK and Europe is that all of these once babies are now becoming elderly and we have to pay for them for their retirement. There's been a really a new modern concept that's out there. Has anyone heard the saying, "Okay boomer"? "Okay boomer" was put together by a young politician in New Zealand called Chloe Swarbrick. I'm going to flick to YouTube and show you what Chloe Swarbrick from the Green Party said last year in Parliament. Have a listen to Chloe.
My generation and the generations after me do not have that luxury. In the year 2050, I will be 56 years old. Yet, right now, the average age of this 52nd Parliament is 49 years old. Okay, boomer. Current political institutions have proven themselves incompetent at thinking out.
I'll just pull that back again and you can listen to her give that quick comeback to some heckler.
Years old. Okay, boomer.
So there she goes. That's now become a very famous saying. Okay, boomer, talking to old people and pretty much putting them down. All right. But what she was talking about was the fact that her generation and you guys are going to have to pay for all the old people who are now starting to retire. All right, so let's go back to the process, the sequence of events that you need to talk through to be able to answer the second question. All right, so here we go. You repeat the question and then you need to expand. You need to say why the baby boom caused an ageing population. Explain the stages in the baby boom process. Use the word process. You need to use the word process about twice in your paragraph. All right. So I'm going to go up further in a moment and we're going to talk about the steps. So the first step in the process is the blue bit, followed by yellow, pink, green, red. All right. So we go up. I'm going to read through this. You need to read through this and then write a paragraph. You can't cut and paste chunks of this. You need to put it in your own words, team. All right. So the baby boom means lots of babies born from 1946 to 1964. All right. Here's a specific fact. An estimated 78.3 million Americans, that means from the USA, were born during that time. Okay. So countries that have a baby boom are the UK, the USA, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So those are the specifics you need to use. So what actually happened? This is the sequence. The first thing that happened to start the baby boom was the blue bit. Men returned home from fighting the war and they became civilians again. All right. GI means army people come back to live a normal life. All right. Who's heard of G.I. Joe, the toy? That means basically an army person coming back. So when they returned home, the government gave these fighters, these people who were fighting for the country, they gave them cheap education loans to go to university, and they gave them very low interest loans if they wanted to buy a house or start a business. When they got home, a lot of these young men wanted to get married and start a family, and they wanted to buy their first home. They basically wanted to live the happy life back home. After that, it was actually really easy to get jobs after the Second World War, and loads of babies were born. When times are hard, people don't have a large family. When you do have the ability to support a family, then people have more children. Not only did people have lots of children after the Second World War, but they spent lots of money. They built lots of houses and they bought lots of stuff in the shops. So that means consumption boom or consumer boom. People went and bought stuff. All right, so here we go. Here's a fact. Between 1940 and 1960, in America, the nation's gross domestic product, or GDP, jumped more than $300 million. All right. So basically, we've got huge numbers of old people now wanting the pension due to being born after the Second World War. And because of the baby boom, we now have an ageing population in these countries. That is your conclusion or your link at the end. You need to link the baby boom back to the process, back to contributing to an ageing population in the globe. All right, come down here. Here's how to lay out your question. Statement, repeat the question. Expand, say why the baby boom caused an ageing population. Give me some examples of some named countries and continents with lots of old people due to the baby boom. New Zealand's one of them. My mum is a baby boom baby. Link this process back to the baby boom causing an ageing population. That's it, team. End of task 2, baby boom process.